So why even explore becoming an entrepreneur, right? What are, like I had shared, is why do you even go down this path, right? What are the perks of, or the interest of becoming an entrepreneur? And I know Milry and Craig are entrepreneurs, and I am as well. Why would you even explore going down becoming an entrepreneur, right? And for me, I know, and I'm going to share a personal story a little bit later, is it was a desire, like I think it was Kathy who shared, that I would love to share my gifts and talents in the world. It was me not being able to share my gifts and talents, being able to have an impact in the world larger than I would if I had, a position or a job. Being able to have the resources to give back to causes that matter most to me, to be able to have time and money freedom of traveling, being able to be with my family, to set my own schedule, have no limits of income, to even explore this down the route of becoming an entrepreneur. And those were some of the perks of what piqued my interest to becoming an entrepreneur, even go down this route. So I don't know what those are for you. Perhaps you want to write those down. If you are exploring, what would that look like for you? What would that, if you had that 1%, even that 1% desire of going down, what would that be for you if you were on this journey? What would that provide for you? Would it be more time with your loved ones? Would it be more income? Maybe would it be that larger impact you want to make for yourself? What would that be for you? That 1% possibility of, if this all worked out, what would that be for you? And if you are comfortable sharing that, go ahead and put that in the chat. Because here's the thing, I know, before the pandemic, we were all face-to-face, but now we're doing it via Zoom. So the interaction is really dependent on the chat. So I'd love for you to share it. What would that be for you if you explored this route of becoming an entrepreneur? Okay. And you can have the information or keep putting it in the chat, and I can keep checking in as we go along in the presentation, and maybe Craig would be so kind to share that with me. So thank you.
There's actually one just came in from Lisa, and she said the flexibility to enjoy my interests, travel, personal growth, and fulfillment. And then Kelly just followed up with more time with family, no income on limit. I think it's probably supposed to be no limits on income and creative freedom.
Awesome. Beautiful, beautiful. That's fantastic. Yes. So often, right, it all sounds good. Like, do I even know, if this is a path for me? Do I even know that this is the right one or right path? Should I just perhaps stay in a job? And here's the thing I want to kind of say as a preface is there's nothing wrong. I just want to say it's nothing wrong as having a position at a company or holding a job. I don't want you to feel that it's a right or wrong. It's just what we are exploring here is the possibility of becoming an entrepreneur. And what are those things that can open up for you? So we have 4 areas of our lives that we are creating results, right? Some results we are totally, absolutely in love with, and some perhaps not as much, right? And so the 4 areas that we are going to be talking about is health, relationship, vocation or career, and time and money freedom, right? And we are creating, as I mentioned before, we are creating results in each of these areas of our lives, right? Some of the areas that we would like to improve, some of the areas we might want to explore, some of the areas we might have not perhaps even considered, right? So what we're going to do is, this tool number one is honoring your longing and discontent. That's tool number one. As we're exploring, why would you go down the path of becoming an entrepreneur? So a longing is something that you want to create and have a deep desire to change, okay? Something you haven't created up until now. That's a longing, right? And the discontent is the current circumstances or conditions that you might be navigating through. Okay, something that you are perhaps saying, okay, yeah, this is how it's supposed to be, or you're not happy or content with where you are. So longing, something that you want to create that you haven't done up until now, and discontent is where your current circumstance and conditions are, right? So for our time together, we're going to concentrate on 2 out of the 4 quadrants that most have to do with the idea of becoming an entrepreneur. And here's the thing, the reason we do 2 out of the 4 is because the other 2 areas will impact when these 2 areas are improved or these are working, the other 2 areas will improve by themselves, just because of how you're working them. So the areas we're going to talk about is vocation or career, and time and money freedom. And I think somebody alluded to that, having more time with their family, being able to travel, right? So time and money freedom and vocation. And I'm going to ask you again a series of questions. And at the end, I'm going to ask you to rate yourself from a level of 1 to 5 and the satisfaction in these areas. Now, I want to also give you a word of caution, right? It's what I'm going to invite you to do is, I know how the human mind works, right? Is we're going to start overthinking it. So I'm going to invite you to put down the first answer that comes to you. Don't overthink it, don't overanalyze it. How many of us kind of overanalyze a situation? I know I do, right? We overanalyze it because we want to get it correct. But here's my invitation is, don't overanalyze it, don't overthink it. Just put down what is the first answer that comes to you. And this is an activity between you and you, right? You won't have to share these answers with anyone. But doing this activity will be the first step for you to begin to discover what is next for you, right? Begin to discover, what is that quest? Why is that nagging feeling of, perhaps even exploring becoming an entrepreneur? I think I was talking to Milry and Craig, is being an entrepreneur, right? One of the things is it takes tenacity. It takes guts to become an entrepreneur, right? So as you're exploring this, really checking in, what is your longing and discontent in this area? So we're going to assess the career or vocation and time and money freedom. Maybe you're a person who feels stuck in a job, right? That you're just checking in and checking out every day. Maybe you're a person who is putting in long hours at your work, missing out on important moments, missing out the time with family, perhaps even compromising your health. I have seen clients who are putting in the long hours and are compromising their health. Maybe you're a person who feels has been overlooked for promotions or raises, right? You're doing your best, you're getting those really great evaluations. Your boss is like, rah, you're amazing. But when it's time for raises and promotions, you are being overlooked. Maybe you're a person who dreads to go to work because of the lack of acknowledgement, or you're checking in your soul at before you get into the office, right? I'm going to share a personal story with you later on. Maybe you're a person who is compromising your relationship because you're putting in those long hours, right? So on a scale of 1 to 5, how satisfied are you with your current work, vocation, or career? So go ahead and put that number down for yourself. 1 to 5, where are you on that spectrum? And where are you on the spectrum of satisfaction of the level of time and money freedom? Are you always stressed to taking time off? If you have to travel, is it, dependent on what your boss says, right? Are you able to give to the causes that really matter to you, or is that something that you stress over? How satisfied are you? Put that down. And what is it? And the other part is, what is it costing you to stay in the same place? If nothing changes, let's say it's a year from now, 6 months from now, a year from now, 3 years from now, if nothing changes for you, what is it costing you? Right? Somebody said about relationships, somebody said about like time, somebody, wants to share their gifts and talents. If you don't explore this route, what is it costing you to stay in the same place? Because here's the thing, we all know, we only have a certain limited amount of time. We don't know how much time we have. So put that for yourself. What is it costing you?